Good evening, everyone. Good evening, teachers. Good evening, fellow mates. We are here to present our topic, equity research in India. I, Manisha Mishra, will begin our project. And before talking about equity research, I would like to say something about equity and what is equity market. Equity represents the ownership of an asset of value, whereas equity market is a place where equity are traded. This is done by two major national platforms. One is National Stock Exchange NSE and the other is Bombay Stock Exchange BSE. This provides a platform for traders to trade the equity. This equity market is also known as stock market, which is a place for buyer and sellers to buy and sell the equities. Suppose let's take an example. Mr. A wants to invest some of his money in something from where he can get good returns, that is more than an FD. So he thought he chooses stock market, and rather than taking advice from other people, he decided to do his own research. Now here comes equity research, which will help him to find out the ins and out of the company and also to know whether to invest in this company. Next, I will tell what is equity market. What is equity research? So, equity research primarily means analyzing companies' financial, perform ratio analysis, forecast financial in Excel, and explore scenarios with the objective of making buy sell stock recommendation. uh, Equity research analysts discuss their analysis in their equity research report. And in this article, we will discuss the nuts and bolts of equity research. Now, what a equity research report consists of. Equity research consists of everything about the company, platform, their performance analysis, their projects, their revenues, their dividends, their debts, and also their industry and economic parameters, as well as technical and fundamental analysis. Now, role of equity research. Equity research plays a very critical role that fills the information gap between the buyer and the seller. This is because not every individual or institutional may have the resources or capabilities to analyze every stock. Additionally, full information is not provided by the management, which further creates inefficiencies. Equity research analyst spends a lot of time, energy, and expertise in analyzing equity research or equity analyzing stocks, following the news, talking to the management, provide an estimate of stock valuation. And the most important, equity research tries to identify the value stock out of massive ocean of stocks, help the buyers to generate profit. The next is literature review. Umrao Lal Gupta in 1972, in his book Working of Stock Exchange, has given a number of suggestions in its working to improve its work. The study highlights the need to regulate the volume of speculation as to serve the need of liquidity. Parallels study titled Indian Capital Market, a functional analysis depicts the primary market as a preliminary source of funds, supply of funds. It mobilizes savings from different sectors of economy, like household, private. And some of its example are mutual funds. In our country, mutual funds work on this formula or in this principle only. And Nabhi Kumar Jain, he gives a certain types of buying shares and holding shares, and also about selling shares. He advised the investors to buy the shares of growing company. Why to buy the shares of growing company? Because there will be no loss in their capital. At least their capital will be safe if they will invest in a good or growing company. And also to buy shares by diversifying in nature. So what is diversification? All have come across the same, never keep all your eggs in one basket. That's how this works. Never buy all the shares of one company because no matter how good that company is, there are a lot of chances of your capital loss. So also diversify your capital in such a way that you buy the shares of all different sectors, that too of different companies and different growing companies. Like if you're buying some shares of telecommunication, then buy some shares of entertainment, buy some shares of banking sector, ITC. There are many more, but never keep all your shares in one company because this will create a loss. And lastly, growth companies operating in a different but equally fast-growing sectors. And those sectors in which you're investing, that must be a growing sectors of the economy. The next topic will be covered by Abhishek Pradhan. Abhishek Pradhan.
Abhishek, okay, Abhishek, are you there?
নেই তো।
স্যার অভিষেকই তো নেই এখানে, মানে এসেছিল কিন্তু এখানে দেখা যাচ্ছে না অভিষেক। এই যে আছে আছে, ও মনে হয় মিউট করেছে। অভিষেক মিউট করলে আনমিউট কর।
অভিষেক তো আছে।
দাঁড়া, ওটা
আচ্ছা
মেসেজ করে দাঁড়া।
হ্যাঁ করো করো। ওই ওই তো
Abhishek, the next topic will be covered by you.
उसका नेटवर्क कट रहा है, নেটটা অফ করে অন কর।
We can hear you. Hello.
না না, আনক্লিয়ার
Yeah,
ক্লিয়ার
say,
না, ক্লিয়ার না।
অভিষেক তোকে লগ আউট করে লগ ইন কর, লগ আউট করে লগ ইন কর।
Acha sir. So, good evening, everyone. I am Abhishek Pradhan, and I am here to introduce you to the objectives and the research methodology of the equity research that we have followed in order to complete our project. Let me read about the objectives of our project, which are: the first objective, to know when we should purchase and sell the share. So, through equity research, we can easily predict what is the right time to buy and what is the right time to sell the shares for the maximum profit. The second one, how much share we should buy. So, through equity research, we accumulate a particular shares of every time it goes down. We will not invest the whole amount of money in a lump sum mode. The third one is which share we should buy. So equity research helps to specify the base quality of the shares of a through technical and fundamental analysis, so that we will use the research of the shares, and from that we can get the which share will be beneficial for the longer time. We can invest it for the maximized profit. And the fourth one, for how long we should hold. So in equity research, we will find out the how long we can hold the shares. That is the buy on fall and a rising sale. Also clarifies that how much time we can hold the shares and for how long it goes on, so that we can maximize our profit to the shares. And the next one is how much money will be required for each scheme. When an investor invested in a particular stock, he must need to know that in which scheme the main profitability takes place. And the next one is to get a brief knowledge about the equity market. So through equity research, an investor gets a brief knowledge about the stock market and about the equity market. And then the last one is on how our country will get benefit from this. So from stock market, our country will get benefited. A company's financial strength is higher, so that it can indirectly boost the country's economy. So then next slide. So the next slide is the research methodology. So through internet and the major source of information, as most of the data was collected from the various sites, and this project is totally based on our secondary data. This project have completed by doing the fundamental and the technical analysis. So next we'll continue Subronil.
Okay, good evening everyone. I am Subronil Banerjee. Today I am going to present the following part, analysis. So before explaining it, I would like to tell you that the basic objectives of an investor behind the investment in equity market. The basic objectives are to make profit by selling shares at higher price and to earn dividend income. An investor analyzes equity market to meet these objectives. Through equity analysis, a trader or investor examines and evaluates the equity market and makes informed decisions about buying and selling shares. Equity analysis is classified into two types. First is fundamental analysis and second one is technical analysis. Next slide, please. Okay. Fundamental analysis. Fundamental analysis is a method through which an investor determines the real value of a stock. If the real value is higher than market price, then the stock is deemed to be undervalued and a buy recommendation is given, and vice versa. Fundamental analysis typically focuses on companies' financial statements to determine whether the stock price is correctly valued. There are mainly two components of fundamental analysis. First one is financial analysis and second one is ratio analysis. Financial analysis is the study of company's financial statement from various viewpoints. The statement gives the historical, current information about the company's operations. Historical financial statements helps to predict the future, and current information aids to analyze the present status of the company. The two main statements used in the analysis are balance sheet and profit and loss account. Next is ratio analysis. Financial ratios provide numerical relationship between two relevant financial data. Financial ratios are calculated from balance sheet and profit and loss account. Next slide, please. Okay, next is profitability ratio. Profitability ratio is the most important component of ratio analysis. It helps to measure the present profit performance and to forecast the future strength of the company. Here are some financial indicators which helps in doing the fundamental analysis. First one is earning per share. Earning per share determines what the company is earning for every share. For many investors, earning is the most important tool. Earning per share or EPS is calculated by dividing the earnings by the total number of equity shares. Next is price earning ratio. The price earning ratio relates the current market price of the share to the earning per share. It is widely used by investors to invest whether or not to buy shares in a particular company. Next is book value. Book value is a company's equity value as reported in financial statement. It represents a fair and accurate picture of company's worth. Next point is dividend yield. Dividend yield is computed by relating the dividend per share to the market price of the share. High dividend yield ratios are usually interpreted as undervalued companies in the market. And lastly, face value. Face value is the value at which the share is actually listed on the stock market. It is also called par value. Next slide. Next is technical analysis. Technical analysis is a trading discipline employed to evaluate the investment and identify trading opportunities in the price trend and pattern seen on the technical chart. Next is technical indicators. Technical indicators are pattern-based signals produced in historic price, volume, or open interest information that aims to forecast financial market direction. Technical indicators are a part of technical analysis. Here are some technical indicators which helps in doing technical analysis. First is relative strength index, RSI. Relative strength index measures the stock's recent trading strength, velocity of a change in the trend, and magnitude of the move. Next point is moving average convergence divergence, MACD. MACD is used to reveal changes in the strength, direction, momentum, and duration of a trend in a stock price. Next point is money flow index. Money flow index is an oscillator that ranges from 0 to 100. It is used to show the money flow over several days. And next indicator is price rate of change. Price rate of change is a momentum-based technical indicator that measures the percentage change in price between the current price and the price a certain number of periods ago. And lastly, commodity channel index. Commodity channel index is an oscillator to help identify price reversal, price extremes, and trending strength. That's all, and Kunal will explain the next part. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am. I'm Kunal Mukherjee. I will continue where Shubhrani left. That I will continue with the implementation of the theoretical analysis. So we have taken a company, Reliance, as it's one of the biggest company in our India. So next slide, please. As we know, Reliance is an Indian multinational company headquartered in Mumbai, Maharashtra. Reliance owns business across India engaged in energy, petrochemicals, telecommunication, textiles, fashions, natural resources, etc. The number of shares of Reliance are approx 3.1 billion, which is a huge. The promoter combined 46.3% of total shares, whereas the remaining 53.6% of shares are held by public shareholders. So, this bar, you can see this bar from 0 to 100. The 50% of the share is held by the promoter group, that is Mukesh Ambani, and another 53.68% is distributed among FII, that is foreign institutional investor, DII, the domestic institutional investor, and retail investor, that is us. Now, and Life Insurance Corporation of India is the largest non-promoter investor in the company with 7.98% of shareholding. The company's equity is listed in NSE, that is National Stock Exchange, and Bombay Stock Exchange Limited. The global depository receipts issued by the company are listed on Luxembourg Stock Exchange. It has issued approximately 56 million GDRs, where each GDR is equivalent to the two equity share of the company. Approximately 3.46% of its total share listed in Luxembourg Stock Exchange. So, as we know, in any share, the more the promoter holding, the stronger the share is. As the promoter relies and trust on his own company, so that the investors are ready to invest on the company where promoter is increasing its stake. So, next slide, please. There are two type of analysis, that is fundamental, technical, and another is ratio analysis. We will go on with fundamental first and then technical. So in fundamental analysis, we will see these 6 fundamental analysis, and we will judge whether Reliance is an investable company or not. First one is market capital. We can see a huge market capital of 10,074,351,000 crore shares. That is a huge, and it holds Nifty 50's top holding share, as Reliance holds 10.46% of weightage alone in Nifty 50. So it's a good sign that this is a blue chip company. This is a blue chip stock that all the investors are relying on this stock, and this is so reliable to invest. Next is earning per share. So what is earning per share? EPS is important financial measure which indicates the profitability of the company. Like every company earns a profit, and they post on quarter basis. Like in a year, they post on 4 quarters, first, second, third, fourth, and they also post on year basis. Now let us assume that the whole profit, if the whole profit is earned by Reliance, is distributed to its shareholders. That is not the case, that none of the company distributes its whole profit to shareholders. They reinvest on their company for their growth or expansion purpose. But if they give their whole profit to the shareholders, so how much the EPS will be? The more the EPS, the more the profit among one share is. So we can see in Reliance, it's 58.20, which is pretty good. Now, Avik sir will think that, okay, Kunal said that higher the EPS, the higher the profit, such all the shares with a high EPS. And now sir will surely invest thinking about that, okay, this stock EPS is above 70 or above 75, so I will invest in this stock, and I will get a maximum number of return, at least more than Reliance, because it's 58.20. But that's not the case. As just think differently. If a company takes so much of loan and was full of debt, according to it, company has taken so much of loan, and for example, a company with a market capital of 100 crore is earning profit after 1 year 10 crore. So the profit is generating on that 100 crore. But if that company take loans another 50 crore debt, then the company's main income is 150 crore, and the profit will be generating on 150 crore. So that time you can see that EPS is rising, but that is rising means what's the reason behind that rise? The reason is bad debt. So we should not look into that company with a huge debt, with a bad debt, or which are pledged, the shares are pledged among the shareholders. We should see with a zero debt or a debt free company, that is Reliance. So that 58.20 is much greater than that 70.20, because it's debt free company, and that company has already so much of debt in it. So EPS is clear. The next is price earning ratio. So what is price earning ratio? Price to earning ratio, it is the ratio of company's share price, that is current market value, that is 1700 Reliance is trading yesterday. So 1700 divided by the company EPS, that is 58.20. Now what is company EPS? As I already told you what is EPS. Now how PE is used to analysis. If the company has a high PE, investors are ready to pay higher prices for the stock, compared to if a company is low PE, investors are not ready to pay higher prices for the stock. Now we can say that if the PE is high, that stock is overvalued, and if the PE is low, that stock is undervalued. Now again, Somo sir will say that why I will buy stock with higher PE, as I am doing fundamental analysis and I am seeing that this stock has already higher P. So why I will invest in Reliance? So I'm just take an example. Just imagine, sir, you are in supermarket and you will purchase a fan today. Okay, you are looking for various models in fan. Now you go to the shopkeeper, and shopkeeper showed you different model of fan. One is Bajaj and one is Surya. Now the Bajaj fan and the Surya fan comes with the same fan, the same specification, and with the price differentiated. Like Bajaj cost 4K of the same table fan, and Surya cost 3.5K of the same table fan. Which one you will choose? You will choose only Bajaj also, because you think that okay, I will, means you are seeing a reliability on that company, that okay, Bajaj है, मतलब ठीक है, ये चलेगा बहुत दिन, and you are ready, you are willing to pay 500 or 600 or anything extra for that with the same specification that Surya is giving. So not only that PE, if I am seeing growth on Reliance from 5 to 10 to 15 years ago, look, fundamental analysis states that if you invest today, and from now 5 to 10 years ago, where the stock will go, if you see a growth in the stock, so you can invest in higher PE. That's not the problem. So PE is, if the PE is high, it's overvalued, and if the PE is low, it's undervalued. So here we can see the PE is 27.30. It's not high. It's it's just fair value. It's investable. Now the next thing is book value per share. Like what is the book value per share? The book value of the share is the ratio of weighted stockholder total equity against the total number of share outstanding. That is, the book value is total equity of net asset or value of a company. Like overall asset of a company, Reliance is, let us suppose take an example of overall asset is rupees 100 and its liability is 80. So the 20, that remaining 20 is the book value of the company. So how it works actually, means actually how you can invest by looking at the book value per share. It is used for investor to determine whether the share is fairly valued or not, whether it is overvalued, whether it is undervalued. If the book value per share is less than the price of the stock, it's overvalued. And if the, on the other hand, if the book value is more than the price of the stock, the market 700. So you can see that book value is less, that means the stock is overvalued. Now again, now ma'am will say that I'm your economics teacher and you are saying me to buy a stock which is already overvalued from 748 to 1700. Why I will buy that stock? Because you see the growth prospect, as we mentioned in, you see the growth prospect after 10 years, maybe the value is more, but it will give initially a good amount of return because the company is growing day by day. So in that way, book value per share is used. Now let us come to next part, that is dividend yield. What is dividend yield? When a company earns profit, suppose in a year when a company earns profit, the company gives a certain amount of dividend to its shareholders. It's not that every company has to give a dividend. It's not like that. But some company gives dividend to its shareholders, like quarter on quarter basis or interim dividend or anything, etc. Now the dividend yield of a share is dividend per share that is given by the company divided by the market capital. So there is a one point that dividend per share is given on the face value, which I will cover next, not on the market value. Okay, so higher the dividend yield, higher the company is giving dividend to its shareholders year on year basis. Now next part is face value. So okay, what is face value? In each company, when the company issues a share along with a fixed value, that is known as face value. Now a company first issues its IPO, that is initial public offering. Then we subscribe that IPO, like Reliance issued its rights. We subscribe that right. If we subscribe the rights more than one time, two times, then the rights will be issued at premium. That is, the main face value of the Reliance is rupees 10, but due to more and more subscribing of that same share, it's posted or it's listed on NSE or BSE at rupees 20. So that 10 is premium. And if the stock is listed less than its face value, it's discount. So each company issues share along with a fixed value, that is face value of the stock. Now face value is used on giving up dividend. Whenever the company gives dividend, that is 400%, 300%, any percent, that is on face value, that is on rupees 10, not on the current market price. That's why we can assume that okay, this stock is face value of rupees 10. Okay, this is fundamental analysis. This is for long term basis. When I can enter for a stock for more than 5 years, 10 years, 2 years, 3 years, or long term basis, we should analyze fundamental analysis. Now and next come to the technical analysis. So technical, usually there are two type of persons in the market. First one is investor, second one is trader. Investor used to invest their money for long term, and traders used to trade their money and earn profit or earn huge amount of profit in short term. So in short term, this technical indicator usually helps the traders to earn profit. Now, first technical indicator is RSI, which is most important indicator. That is relative strength index, developed by J. Wills Wilder. It is a momentum oscillator that measures speed and change the price movement. So, Shubhranil, can you show the chart so that sir and ma'am can understand well?
And
Okay.
another thing, slideshow. Please start our slideshow. You have not started your slideshow yet. You are just saying the slides when you have not started the slideshow.
Sir, which slide show?
No. Slideshow টা start করো. Press F5. Your slideshow will be started. There is an option slideshow also.
slideshow থেকে ফার্স্ট বিগিনিং থেকে করতে
Slideshow from the current slide করো. Slideshow from the current slide. দেখো এখানে current slide দেওয়া আছে. Yes, current slide. Slideshow from the slideshow select করেছো, এবার current slide select করো.
मनीषा
देखो
from
नीचे
current slide लिखा हुआ है देखो.
Hello. Where?
हाँ लिखा
This
हुआ है
one.
देखो.
This one, slideshow.
हाँ ओके, हाँ स्लाइड शो देखो, एकदम लेफ्ट हैंड का सेकंड देखो, फ्रॉम करंट स्लाइड लिखा हुआ है देखो.
Yeah.
हाँ
So this is the very basic thing. Okay, carry on.
Okay, sir. Now
Slideshow করো. হয়েছে slideshowটা? ঠিক আছে. করো হ্যাঁ বলতে থাকো.
Let us come to RSI. What is RSI? RSI is
হয়নি,
relative
slideshowটা হলো না তো. slideshowটা হলো না. ঠিক আছে.
मनीषा क्लिक कर.
Wait, I'm doing it, but I don't know why this is not happening.
It will happen. Why it will not happen? Carry on.
স্যার যে কোনো এক্সপ্লেন করছিলাম ওগুলো স্ক্রিনে দেখতে পাচ্ছিলেন তো?
হ্যাঁ দেখতে পাচ্ছিলাম, but it was smaller. It was looking
ও
smaller.
আচ্ছা.
বলো.
হ্যাঁ. Okay. Now, let me come to the RSI. What is relative strength index? It is developed by J. Wills Wilder. It is a momentum oscillator that measures speed and the change of price movement. Basically, when RSI is 0 to 80 in range, it is known as overbought, and when the RSI is 0 to 30 in range, it is known as oversold. So none of the stock can remain constant in overbought zone as well as oversold zone. If the stock is remaining constant on oversold zone, it will bounce back to its main initial zone, that is 40 to 70. And if the stock is in overbought zone, it has to come down maybe today or tomorrow, but it has to come down as it cannot remain constant. So Manisha, can you show me the next slide of chart so that ma'am will understand more? Next chart of Reliance. Yes, sir, you can see here the RSI 14, and that is in, it's trading at 75 or 70, not more than 80. So it's not in the overbought zone, and you can see here above, more above 20. So it's not in the oversold zone. So the stock is trading at fair zone in terms of RSI. RSI means the strength of the price. So the strength of the price is pretty good and not in the overbought and not in the oversold zone. So we can invest it in this zone. Now let us go back to the previous slide. Next is MACD. What is MACD? MACD is moving average convergence divergence. It is a trend following momentum. It shows the relation between the two moving average. So it shows relation between 26-day EMA and 12 EMA. So what is EMA? EMA is estimated moving average. Manisha, can you show the next slide? So the white line one is 26 EMA, and the red line you can see in MACD is 12 days EMA. So if the white line cuts the red line, that is 26 EMA cuts 12 EMA, it is known as bearish crossover. You can see in the chart, whenever when it cuts the red line, the stock has fallen drastically. But when the white line cuts the red line and goes upward, and you can see here the stock moved upward. So if the 26-day EMA, that is white line, cuts the red line, it's known as bearish crossover. And same vice versa, when the white line cuts the red and goes upward, it's known as bullish crossover. So best investing position is when a stock is giving a bullish crossover. Okay, now let's move back to the next. Okay, now the third one is commodity channel index. What is commodity channel index? Commodity channel index is developed by Donald Lambert. CCI is a momentum-based oscillator which used to help determine when an investment vehicle is searching condition in overbought and oversold. Just as like RSI, it is also showing a number which is useful for the investor, for the traders to analyze that if the stock is in overbought zone or in the stock is in oversold zone. If the stock is in overbought zone, we should not invest, as we know the stock will be fall from here. And if the stock is in oversold zone, we also know that none of the stock can remain constant in oversold zone. It has to bounce back. So it helps the investors or traders to know where to invest. Now next is money flow index.
before going to money flow index, আমি বলে দিই আমাদের এই স্লটটা শেষের দিকে, হ্যাঁ একদম শেষের দিকে। তো আমি নতুন স্লট একটা দিচ্ছি, ওখান থেকে আমার শুরু করো, ঠিক আছে? আমি নতুন স্লট দিচ্ছি, এই স্লটটা শেষ করছি, তোমরা ওখানে জয়েন করো, ওখান থেকে শুরু করো।
তাহলে মানি ফ্লো ইন্ডেক্সটা ওখান থেকে শুরু করছি,
ওখান থেকে শুরু করবে, হ্যাঁ।
ঠিক আছে।